Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. I'm your host, Leafy Potato, and welcome to another NRTS 1v1 cast, this time bringing to you the tournament finals of our June Ground Zero tournament, played between SunnySide and qalavan. qalavan, in this tournament, up to this point, undefeated. Actually insane performance out of qalavan, managing to defeat myself and Mr. Absolutely insane. And also, SunnySide, only one loss so far this game. And it was to qalavan before this. So, yeah, this is going to be a real interesting game. We have Snowdrift over here. Complete split map. We've got qalavan is the green commander, and SunnySide is the yellow Sunny, going with an upped command center into very delayed militia production, but up command center militia nonetheless. qalavan, meanwhile, slacking on militia production. It seems like he wants to get an early vehicle depot down. The map is huge. It says small on the map voting screen. How is this small? I don't know, but it's huge. And with a cross-map spawn, having the extra mobility that a recon will provide you, or a jeep will provide you, is just killer. It seems like Sunny deleted his militia. Okay, so that was a misclick then. Very unorthodox opening from Sunny, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. He has managed to grab quite a lot of farms, as qalavan has invested very heavily in this vehicle depot. Does have the recon out at 152. Very interesting. Also, by the way, if this seems sped up, it is. We are playing this at StarCraft speed again, because this is a quite long game. Even sped up, this video is going to be almost 40 minutes long, so strap in. If you need to make some popcorn, now's a great time. We have Airpad as the response. Early Airpad as a response to early Vehicle Depot. Very interesting to see. So, Sunny, one-upping qalavan's movement, will be able to outmaneuver him. qalavan, though, has more offensive pressure, so Sunny really can't defend his farms. He just needs to punch qalavan in the farms, or in the worker, if possible. Chopper, standing in the middle of the map, as Sunny brings his workers back home to not lose them to recons. Second Chopper going to be out on the map pretty soon as qalavan queues his fourth recon. And Chopper harassment will begin. Now, Chopper does beat a recon in a straight 1v1, so as qalavan, you kind of need two recons on one spot, or you have to hope that Sunny's not paying attention with his micro. So far, though, Sunny making houses back home. He understands his farms are not something he's going to be able to hold on to. He just needs to make sure that qalavan can't hold his either. Sunny gets his first farm casualty. Hooray. Meanwhile, having already taken 3 and is about to take a 4th, so qalavan with a lot of offensive pressure here, but he just won't be able to hold the map. So Sunny not going to very quickly be whittling down these farms, but with the extra mobility that his choppers provide, will be able to slowly crush qalavan's economy down to a couple of farms. qalavan's workers staying back home, just terrified. You can't really move them out when there's choppers around, unless you have solid anti-air to escort them. And or if the choppers are gone. Sunny, Sunny, using the rock in between purple and green space as a one-way ticket to harassing qalavan's interior. This is going to be annoying. And qalavan not having any air to really respond to this, will just have to accept the fact that Sunny owns this rock for the time being. There is a farm next to the rock, in between purple and red, that if you take that and make a tower or turret there as qalavan, you can secure your rock again, so Sunny can't harass you, but yeah, this is really annoying. qalavan having to make a tower at these 2 farms in the middle. Meanwhile, though, Sunny only has 4 farms to his position, but he's got 6 houses already. He has been just pumping out these houses. qalavan, meanwhile, has been making more and more recons, which is great. qalavan losing a worker there. Wow. Actually crazy micro. We see Sunny selling his Airpad, content with the 2 chopper harassment he's got. I suppose that's just to free up some more power. Makes a tower in front of his base, doesn't want to die to recon push. Not a terrible idea. Still, very unorthodox play from Sunny. It's worked for him in the last game that we cast of his. So let's see. Tower as well, freeing up that second layer of buildings around your command center. Otherwise, if you don't have the tower there, an enemy can just park units in front of your base and shoot at your exposed second ring of buildings. It's really obnoxious. Sunny will begin his own production of vehicles, having successfully harassed qalavan pretty much into the dirt. qalavan does have an upgraded command center himself now, and is working on his housing. qalavan also up 3 farms. That is going to help, but that is a completely temporary thing. Okay, so Sunny and qalavan, relatively similar ecos, but qalavan going to struggle to hold his farms. qalavan does have a lot of military pressure on Sunny, though. He just can't really cash it out. Keeping your recons in front of Sunny, though, is the correct decision. Letting Sunny take his farms back and then having to go back across the map to harass them, yeah, that'd be obnoxious. Sunny stockpiling recons, does have enough eco to do so, and has plenty of population. Sunny also managing to get a house pick. That's really nice. Might get a second one, too. Working on it. Yeah, if you're qalavan, you can't really be happy about that. Losing $90 in houses at the 9-minute mark. You can still play a game off of this, but he's in a bad position. Finally makes an anti-air. We'll use that to escort his worker. And Sunny only having 2 choppers to his aim will not be able to respond. Okay. We've sort of equalized where qalavan has punched Sunny in a very meaningful way. Not enough to kill him, though. And Sunny, meanwhile, has harassed qalavan to the point where qalavan has been almost paralyzed economically. Having more farms than your opponent is great, but you have to be able to keep those more farms if you want that to actually pay any dividends for you. Sunny, again, abusing the crap out of this rock. If qalavan takes any farms away from his anti-air, then Sunny just jumps him. Now, if Sunny hops off of the rock, though, he has to go all the way around back towards the Red's base in order to get to it again. And we see all of qalavan's attention right now on microing an anti-air. And Sunny using the terrain outside around the ring of Green's base. Yeah, I'm gonna concretely say I think Snowdrift is a chopper map. It's open, it's big, and the terrain that you can abuse in this map, like, look at that. Just got the choppers at the corner there, and qalavan just can't touch them. The chopper-only territory. Absolutely crazy. And yeah, he'll just go back down now. qalavan having made a light tank. Presumably thinking that, Sunny's only got 2 choppers. That tank's going to be pretty much free to do whatever he wants, so long as it's escorted by the anti-air that qalavan's already made for territorial defense. And I will say, qalavan's done a good job so far holding on to his farms. For as much harassment and pressure Sunny has put on Qual, this is a decent enough hold. He's got 9 farms to his name. That's probably going to change pretty soon. qalavan, having sold his vehicle depot, does make an air pad. Wants to start responding very directly to Sunny's choppers. Sunny just now going out and taking more farms. qalavan having retreated his recons back. Sunny also having the army to be able to do so, will use his army to escort his workers. Alright. And Sunny, in response to qalavan's choppers, makes an anti-air preemptively, wants to be able to protect his recons and tank. Now, recons en masse beat choppers en masse, dollar for dollar, but it always helps to have an anti-air with your army. Just protect your DPS that much more. Alright, 13.5 minutes in this game. Just checking up on the audience here. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having a good day so far. I hope that this cast has at least made it slightly better. If not, I am terribly sorry, and I hope that your day gets better from here. We see Sunny getting a little greedy, almost sticking his hand too far into this honeypot here. qalavan getting some decent damage on Sunny. Sunny with no hospitals to speak of, so these choppers are going to be at half HP for the rest of their life. Sunny trying to see what value he can get out of them before qalavan just stamps down on them. Qual having the anti-air at the base of the cliff, and also his 2 choppers, now 3 on the map. Will probably look to shove Sunny off of this mountain. Yeah, and here we go. As the 2 choppers in the back steadily climb the mountain. Sunny back at home, just macroing up, as you do, making more workers, helping him build a little faster. Sunny loses a chopper. qalavan might lose a farm, doesn't. Sunny's about to lose a chopper, though. Yeah, nice dive. Saves the farm at 1 HP. Okay, and now qalavan's got an air force, and Sunny doesn't. Sunny, though, has a ground army. So, there's that. Sunny also housing. I think his housing's complete. qalavan, meanwhile, has a little bit left to go, but it's not so far behind. qalavan also having slightly higher farm eco, allowing him to shrug that off, and will be able to harass with his uncontested air force pretty much anywhere that Sunny doesn't have static defense and a lot of it. Okay, Sunny's position reduced back to 6 farms. We're playing a low eco game here as Sunny. qalavan showing us why choppers are important for establishing eco. Not only can you harass the crap out of enemy farms. Oh, I apologize. 7 farm position for Sunny. Not only can you harass the crap out of enemy farms, you can, when you put the pressure on your opponent, force them to keep their stuff back home. And when their stuff is back home, they are not harassing your farms. And so you go and take all of them. As we see qalavan's workers moving around the map now that he's got an Air Force and taking as many farms as possible. I think you can be content with this size of Air Force right here. Having more choppers at this point doesn't help you all that much, outside of maybe doing more damage to tanks for free. But I think switching back into up to vehicles and or just going ham on eco is probably the way to go. Making some more workers to be able to take the farms over near Red's base and Purple's base right now would be a gangster move as well. Alright, Sunny having upgraded a vehicle depot. Nice to see it. Will have the first tier 2 units on the map. But qalavan's just got way more farms at this point. Sunny's been chilling back at his own base, playing his own game. Right? Can't make any grave mistakes. You know, you can't lose your army if your army's not on the field. Heavy tank is on the field now. Will need to escort that for his life, but that'll do pretty well at reducing the militia count that qalavan's been building up this whole time. Early heavy tank, really good at punishing an over-reliance on militia. Really terrible for your eco, though. Not generally recommended. Got a research facility in the back for SunnySide. We'll be able to stop any potential of losing the game. Missile turret's already in effect. And turreting the command center mainly just keeps choppers from being able to freely kill you. You put some missile turrets around, you've got some towers around, right? The enemy chopper formation just gets shredded whenever they go for a dive, and your command center's left standing. And they waste all their choppers, right? So that's kind of the idea. You prevent the enemy from being able to just dive your CC with a significant amount of choppers, and so you can play a 2-position game where you've got your army out on the field somewhere, hopefully in front of the enemy's base, and also you've got your base well defended, so even if they try to make like a decisive move, nothing's gonna come of it. Okay, artillery on the field as well for Sunny. I'm curious how this is going to play out. No healing currently, but that can be fixed. qalavan's still massing choppers. It seems like he's also slowly adding in more vehicles. Extra anti-air coming out from Sunny. Wants to just harden his army against choppers. It's very easy to say, oh, I've got 5 anti-air, I'm going to be free forever. And then the opponent's got like 40, 50 choppers because they just felt like it. Yeah, if you see that your opponent's continually making choppers, after you make your vehicle, make another anti-air. Right? Just keep your army from being destroyed by an over-reliance on a few numbers of anti-air. If you're not going to keep making anti-air past a certain point, you need a lot of healing, right? Keep your army on the field for longer so that you can have more meat shields, and then your anti-air can do decent work. Anyways, yeah, qalavan still mass-producing choppers. We'll have upgraded vehicles on the field sometime soon, I believe. And Sunny makes a move. Right, he will give up an upgraded farm in order to do that, which sucks, but he does certainly have an army that's difficult to respond to. qalavan, though, does have an upgraded vehicle depot now, and will have a heavy tank all of his own, so we'll have some response, and yeah, qalavan will get damage done on these farms. If you're not careful, though, you can get, yeah, splash damage on your choppers ain't great. Taking some tower shots on the way out. Ends up losing just 1 chopper for the harassment, but having 6 or 7 of them at like 60% HP or lower, not the best. Not terrible, mind you. Just, you'd rather that not have happened. But Sunny losing 26 eco there, that's not nothing. Especially at the point in the game when he's only got something like probably 300-ish? 300-ish eco? Maybe like 290 something. Yeah, losing 26 eco is not nothing. Okay, qalavan forming a battle line. Does have 3 heavy tanks with this formation. It's about to be 4. Sunny, bringing some workers with this formation, will establish a hospital on the front lines here, and will fight within range of a missile turret just kind of forces the opponent to make artillery in order to break this position. Sunny can just fight around the missile turret if he really wants to. And then we're going to tower forward. I think that's a decent call. If qalavan's too passive, then he just starts taking tower fire. If he respects the tower too much, though, then this can get annoying really quickly. Tower not shooting at anything quite yet. qalavan will continue to rally yet more heavy tanks. Sunny pushes forward. qalavan respects it. Very interesting. Sunny throwing his weight around now. I like to see it. I feel if you're going to throw your weight around like this, you probably also want to start investing in more farms. Like, get some more workers on the field. We see qalavan selling his militia. Not a terrible idea when there's heavy tanks on the field. Right, your militia are probably going to die to splash damage anyways. Just get some value out of them. Sunny in his first engagement loses 2 recons just like that. It's the power of heavy tanks. They just kind of annihilate everything that isn't an enemy heavy tank or air units. We have a ball of anti-air back at home for Sunny, not trusting his missile turrets to do the defense of his command center. And or using them to walk his workers around to get more farms. That would actually be pretty sick. qalavan selling recons as well. I don't think he's pop locked. He looks like he's done housing. Upgraded vehicles still coming out. And we have some medics. We're just going to trickle out some medics from both sides. Now we're in an arms race. Right? You can... Well, you can't fudge your way past like 3, 4, 5 heavy tanks with just one. But you can absolutely put some hurt on the opponent if you've got static defense to fall back to and they have no good way to deal with it and you have way more healing. Right? The nice thing about having less tanks than your opponent is there's less tanks to get hit by splash damage. The problem is, though, when you have anti-air behind them, if the opponent misses your tank and hits 6, 7 anti-air, then your medics are disabled for forever. And Sunny managing to find some good value with his recons as well. Will end up taking down 2 farms so far from qalavan, working on the 3rd. And it's not like they're doing it slowly, too. 3 farms already dropped. qalavan still having a lot of farms around the purple side. I will say that this is one of the advantages of Sunny pushing so far forward and creating a thorn right in front of qalavan's base. qalavan's territorial control is now basically U-shaped, and when it's U-shaped, you can clamp down on one end or the other pretty easily, as those recons just did, sweeping around the orange side. qalavan's control was orange, green, red, purple, but as soon as he has to pull back to his own base and hold his hands up in front of his face to stop, getting teeth knocked out of him, then Sunny can just go and hit him somewhere else, right? qalavan has no real force to defend. And so now we have a decent enough tank v tank confrontation here. qalavan with a lot more tanks than Sunny, but Sunny having a decent enough formation and static defense in front of qalavan. qalavan not fighting in range of static. That said, qalavan's got a lot of medics as well. A lot of tanks, a lot of medics. Sunny taking pretty heavy damage here. Is still managing to get some artillery shots down. Gets another kill on qalavan's tanks. So qalavan struggling a little bit here. Taking a lot of tower fire, just trying to sit in range of it with an artillery. Sunny upgrading his towers, just making them that much harder to remove. I think it's not even a terrible decision now. What's one more tank going to add to your force? A little bit, but really, having the towers last a little bit longer is pretty important. Now, Sunny backing his army away from the tower's defense does allow about 5 of them to get picked off for next to free. Not great. Not great. Not terrible, but not great. Okay, Sunny's moving forward now. Wants to establish a missile turret to make it so that the enemy tanks can't do that again. But then you need your missile turrets to be far enough back that artillery can't start shelling them as soon as one layer of towers is gone. So, very tricky. We have 2 artillery now shelling away at Sunny's position, and Sunny has to respond. If he just sits back and tries to make more towers, yeah, they're just going to get picked off by artillery. And qalavan can just sit back, do whatever he wants. Right? Sunny's got to respond to this. He's under fire. Artillery from qalavan pulling back, receiving medical care. And qalavan is just systematically pushing Sunny out of this position. Sunny trying to fight forward. Loses an anti-air, loses a tank. And this missile turret is now free to pick at, so Sunny can pick at it while healing his army back up. Sunny, not in the best of positions. Is still making tanks, does still have some medics. But your static defense is lacking, and the opponent's got air control still, which is difficult. Even if you have anti-air around, it is still difficult. Alright, tower's going to be taken out, missile turret's going to be taken out, and this forward base is going to be just free for artillery to shell at from across wherever. Sunny trying to poke forward, but yeah, now the artillery's hitting his units, and that's pretty rough. Sunny losing 2 tanks here. That's more than a minute of his eco. Ooh, just nasty shots. Sunny nearly losing another 5 tanks. That would have been devastating. Still has him on the field, though. Placing down another hospital, we want to just panic, have a little bit more healing. qalavan's going to shove forward. Sunny still miraculously not losing a tank in that fight, despite one of them being at like a quarter HP before it. And Qual's just going to push. Yeah, like, why wouldn't you? Artillery's going to shell away still. Sunny's trying to get damage done, but his medics got splashed. That's going to suck. He's got to retreat, like, out of this position completely. What was that? 4 tanks going down for Sunny? This is ridiculous. You just can't... How can you survive this level of attrition? You're losing so much stuff. And yeah, at this point, like, what are you defending? You're defending a couple hospitals. Like, okay, sure, whatever. You can make medics, but... And an upgraded vehicle depot. You've got an upgraded vehicle depot back home. Just go ahead and... Well, let's just use that, right? Okay, and Sunny starts. Sunny realizes this position is lost. And he backs up, right? Ground can be retaken another day if you've got an army on the field still. If you don't have an army on the field, you're kind of just boned, no matter how you slice it. Okay, and qalavan's artillery will finally clear Sunny out of this position. Now, Sunny probably didn't ever have a chance to hold that long term, just because it's way closer to qalavan's base, right? It's just so much harder to hold something further from your production than it is for the opponent to strike against it. So qalavan, well done, plays the slow game, gets a very significant force on the map pretty quickly, abusing his air power to keep his opponent on limited economy so that he can make more tanks than his opponent does, and uses that to good effect, keeping Sunny unable to stop him from artillery pushing. Now, qalavan moving forward with his workers and army, looking to do the same back to Sunny. But Sunny is the king of defense. He's really, really good at not losing his command center. Okay, qalavan, getting defense research, thinks it's a decent idea as well. Want to keep the opponent from being able to mass choppers and kill you. As Sunny starts thinking, okay, I'm going to fight choppers with choppers. I want to be able to harass his farms. I want to be able to take my own farms again. Sunny pushes his army back out on the map. He's got some tanks now. He's got some medics. He's got a lot of anti-air. And he's just looking to move forward. And he had a decent enough formation advantage on qalavan. But qalavan, now that he's out in the middle, he's fine. Right? This is fine for Qual. Artillery is exposed on both flanks, though, so they can be picked off for next to free, and you're probably going to see that, yeah. Both players lose a tank, and qalavan loses an artillery on top of that. So, decent trade here for Sunny. At this point in the game, trading units is the main way to deal damage to your opponent. Ooh, Sunny losing 2 tanks in that fight, as well as a couple artillery, or not artillery, medics. My apologies. Losing anti-air as well, not great. The opponent's medic corps is like keeping him in the fight. Now, qalavan's medics got splashed there for a second, so his tanks were actually pretty much free pickings, but Sunny's in no real position to actually enforce that. Will push forward, but he only has 3 tanks on the map. Now, you kind of want to have at least 6 before you try to fight any number of the enemy's tanks. Just because that's the critical mass. That's when, if you can get all 6 of your tanks to fire at one thing, it kills anything, no matter what it is, unless we're talking about Juggernaut. And or you get 2 groups of 3. It's not hard to have your tanks like 2-shot something. If you've got 6 on the map, it's pretty hard to do that with just 3 tanks. Because then they have to all be shooting at the same thing. And then they're usually easy to pick off when they are all shooting at the same thing. Right? At some point you need tanks to be able to hold the line, even if it is just like spacing them very far apart. If the opponent has their units packed together to be able to all fight against you, like if they've got 20 tanks and you've got 10, right, in order to fight you with all 20 of the tanks, they either have to be completely surrounding you or they have to be packed tighter than yours are, and if they're packed tighter, they're more susceptible to splash, which means that your tanks deal more damage than theirs do, per tank. Anyways, it's a weird balancing act. Long and short of it is, once you get about 6 tanks, you can sort of fight. And Sunny's working his way up there. He's also contesting the air power here from qalavan, while also building his medic stock back up. Okay, so Sunny is back home. We have upgraded air units here from qalavan, looking to make fighters. Now, Sunny already has anti-air on the field, so these fighters are going to be... they're going to find it difficult to deal with Sunny's choppers, generally speaking. We are approaching the 42-minute of this game, or the 42-minute mark, rather. And Sunny is fortifying his base, right? He's like, okay, I'm on the defensive now. My play is I'm going to try to seek a decisive military victory against qalavan, put him in a position where he can't hope to replace everything that he's got on the field right now, because these armies now cost more than a nuke silo and a missile. Right, this is ridiculously expensive to replace, and with the sort of stuff that both players have in terms of production on the field right now, it's going to take them minutes to replace a full army. So if Sunny can ever get to a point where he's got half of what he's got right now and qalavan has nothing, he can still win this game no matter what. Basically, we're in the part now where losing your army is just like you lose, period. Right, that you could argue that's in the mid game as well. You can argue that's even as early as the early game, right? You lose your whole army, you lose. But I think at this point more than anything, you can break through static defense with even just one artillery and infinite medic, or one artillery and 7 medics can keep your artillery constantly shelling at enemy towers, and you can just rinse repeat that for as long as you need to. So you can get decent damage done here, and we see qalavan in range of a hospital and with some medic support being able to start reducing this static defense position from Sunny. And ladies and gentlemen, we are playing late game. Okay, Sunny loses a tank. qalavan, decent micro. Sunny also some unfortunate shots. His tank's not really firing back, and also the shots that he did make didn't go very far. qalavan fighting in a range of a couple towers does make it a little harder for his medics to actually heal off damage. We see Sunny trying to fight into range of qalavan's towers, both players losing a tank. Ooh, and then qalavan losing another one, and another one. Okay, that's a kind of trade that Sunny wants to see. Right, you need more of those. Sunny with, I think, just 4 tanks on the field and a healthy amount of choppers, being able to put a decent hurt on qalavan. qalavan not having his production up at this front line yet, will have to rally every tank that he makes back to this front line across the map. And so Sunny's already in a position where if he makes like 2 tanks, he's on even footing with qalavan, and he can just fight. Right, and he's way closer to his production. He's also got some artillery with him. Anti-air getting splashed sucks, but it is what it is. And both players have licked their wounds and they're ready to go. And so we're playing the game. Who moves first? qalavan moves first, moving towards Sunny. Both players exchange some fire. Mostly ineffective. qalavan does manage to splash some medics from Sunny, so that hurts, but Sunny's ready to fight again. And he's got his huge chopper ball, manages to snipe an artillery. Love to see it. Stalling out qalavan significantly. He finally just says, screw it, I'm making a vehicle depot at the front. And as soon as he does, Sunny looking to push forward and get some damage done. Now, Qual's got a better formation overall, and so Sunny is going to find it a little harder to get damage done once he's massing his units. And we see the medics are getting nailed here from, like, qalavan's nailing Sunny's medics very well, very consistently. Just having to sit around for 30 seconds healing only medics sucks, especially when you have half HP tanks that really need the HP. Right. The medics will heal just fine when they're at low HP. The tanks really can't fight when they're at low HP, because then they're in range of getting one shot. Sunny and qalavan trading tank for tank. Sunny managing to get another tank pick and another tank pick. Another 3-for-1 trade for Sunny. You need to repeat this over and over again. And Qual's got tanks rallying in from his base, but despite having the economic advantage, Qual cannot afford to be taking a 1-to-3 trade with Sunny. Like, at all. Right, even with this much more economy, he's probably got, say, even 50% more. You need to be taking 2-to-3 trades instead of 1-to-3 in order to be able to keep fighting this. Sunny looking to catch qalavan in a bit of an uncomfortable position here. Ooh, low HP tanks, you got to be really careful about that. qalavan also has some. Sunny's got a pretty big air force, though. Will move it forward. Loses a chopper. Not great. Loses a tank. That's also not great. Trying to put the artillery in range of the hospital. Does manage to splash some units. And qalavan's going to have to respond. Sunny losing another chopper. But the choppers are a lot easier to replace than the tanks. qalavan managing to hold on to his units for the time being. Will need to still constantly heal them. Sunny moving forward again. We'll get another tank pick, but it's tank for tank. And Sunny's low HP. He's pushing forward again. Uh-oh. Whew, not punished just barely. We see the towers here managing to flank qalavan's formation as he tries to move forward. Sunny's workers putting in overtime here. A very interesting tower forest from Sunny. It's pretty much a spear as it pushes forward towards the enemy camp. We're trying to make a hospital on the flank as well. This position from Sunny is actually quite interesting to me. Neither player is losing units here, except for the artillery that manages to get sniped by a tower here. Tragic, tragic. We see qalavan loses yet another tank. Sunny loses an anti-air for the privilege. That's a fine trade for Sunny. qalavan trying to layer in fighters here to keep Sunny's choppers from being able to just dive low HP tanks. That is the easiest way to get value out of choppers in this late game. Is once you get the enemy's tanks to low HP and they have to pull back to heal, you just dive them with choppers. And here we go. Sunny's looking for another push here. Gotta be really careful though, especially if you're gonna have medics close to the front lines. If your medics get splashed, you have to be pretty aware of that and immediately pull back. Artillery managing to splash qalavan's air force actually is significant here. qalavan losing a tank. Sunny's tanks are low HP though. Okay. Sunny gets 2 tanks, loses 1. Has 1 replacement already. And qalavan's still struggling a little bit in terms of eco. But we're getting to the point now. qalavan is setting up some static defense in a little bubble here. This is almost certainly for a nuke. Yeah, you gotta hold though if you're qalavan. You gotta start taking way better trades. You've got a lot of medics, which is nice if you're qalavan. And you're fighting next to a couple of hospitals, which helps, but so is Sunny. And so, yeah, you basically have to gamble that Sunny's gonna start sucking. And instead, we see a push. Fighter gets knocked out of the sky. Sunny gets really greedy though, loses a tank. Choppers are going forward. They managed to get 3 tanks. Holy crap! That's what it's there for, right? That's what your whole air force is there for. Pretty much every chopper there has paid for itself at this point in tank kills. Not with just the 3 choppers, or not with just the 3 tanks rather, but pretty much. Like, that is golden. Sunny's in a perfect position now. qalavan making the silo as well instead of making units here will make him pretty much anemic. If Sunny can manage to get his tanks around and hit those medics on the flank, oh my god, can you imagine? We've got 2 artillery still shelling away at Sunny's position, but slowly. Sunny pushing forward with his tanks. Into range of the choppers is dangerous, but you kind of have to. Sunny will pull back, heal up his units, and then he will go back to the fight. And as Sunny continues to not lose units, he gets himself closer and closer to max. Once he hits max, he's pretty much just golden. Now, qalavan does have a lot of healing, and the silo is building right now, so Sunny's in a bit of a pickle. We see the choppers. I don't know exactly where they're going, but I think they're going for a dive. qalavan's entire air force just vacates, and Sunny starts poking with the tanks. And qalavan pulls back his air force to respond. He wants to sit on top of the nuke silo. Sunny's fighting into range of 2 missile turrets, though. Is that even going to be worthwhile? Like, a couple towers, especially with the fighters here? Yeah, I mean, does Sunny even get a scratch on this nuke silo? No. Yeah, that's tragic, man. I mean, I get it. It happens, but yeah, Sunny sells his command center, and GG is called. What a game, dude. What a game. Desperate play from Sunny. But even still, even in death, it wasn't even that qalavan could kill his base. It's that Sunny decided that was it. 56 minutes of insane gameplay. And ladies and gentlemen, hold on, I have to pull up something that qalavan wanted me to read to you all. It'll be just a moment, I promise. It's right here. Quote unquote, recon rush meta. And then also, quote unquote, Sunny, we could have been friends, but I wanted war. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've somehow watched all the way to the end of this, I thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. And a friendly reminder to stay classy.